Hey guys, it's Jonathan here from PlayGuitar.com. Today I've got a lesson for you that is very, very important. We're going to talk about the pentatonic minor scale, because the pentatonic minor scale is the one scale to rule them all. If you ever need, you're stuck, where should I solo? Pentatonic minor scale is the place to go. Why? Because you can't play a wrong note. As long as you have the scale in the right place, in other words, if you're playing in the right key, then you're not going to play a wrong note. There are no notes that are going to conflict with chords that you might be playing over top of, right? So a lot of people talk about how you got to move scale patterns, shift patterns to keep up with the changing chords in the song, right? So you might go through 3 or 4 different scale patterns in the course of a song using that approach. Using the pentatonic minor scale, you don't have to change positions at all. You can use the pattern I'm going to show you through the entire song, and it's going to sound great. So that makes it an excellent place for beginners to get started learning how to solo, right? So that little whatever I was playing there at the beginning was straight out of the pentatonic minor scale. The pentatonic minor scale is used hugely in blues, country, rock, metal, all kinds of different genres of music use this scale that I'm going to show you. In fact, I heard a wind chime a little while ago, and I was listening to it, and I thought, hey, that's the pentatonic minor scale. And the reason for that is because when a wind chime, clangs against itself, they don't want anything that's going to contradict with one of the other notes, because it's random, right? You can't predict which chime is going to happen next. So they use the pentatonic scale because all of the notes harmonize with each other. They all sound great together. So that's the scale that we're going to learn here. It's a really powerful scale if you can wrap your mind around it. And let's dive into it. I'm going to teach it to you in the position of A minor. But what's really important to note is that it comes off of this root note here, A. And if you move the pattern I'm going to show you, you can move that pattern starting from the root note anywhere else on the fretboard. And that scale that was a pentatonic minor scale will now become whatever, you'll be transposing it into whichever key you move it to. So for instance, if I moved it down here to the 1st fret, that's an F there on the 6th string 1st fret. That pattern would then become an F pentatonic minor scale. So let's dive in. I'll teach you the pattern, and then I'll just briefly demonstrate how you can shift the scale to other keys, okay? Alrighty. So pattern looks like this, and I've put it here on the bottom of the screen too, so you can follow along. It's in the same arrangement as the fretboard here. A is here. That's our first note. Now, when you're learning scales, wherever possible, try to play assign one finger per fret. Okay. This pentatonic minor scale pattern is really convenient in that it only uses 4 frets. So it's easy to keep your hand locked in a particular position. Now, I don't mean locked as in like rigid, right? But I mean locked as in anchored. Keep your first finger anchored to the 5th fret, second finger to the 6th fret, third finger to the 7th fret, and 4th finger to the 8th fret. Okay, so it goes like this. I'll just play it through. And then you could go back down. Alright, so that's all there is to it. Let's go through it in a bit more detail. There's your A, first finger, index finger. Okay, fingers are 1, 2, 3, 4. Strings are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First finger on the 5th fret of the 6th string. Then your 4th finger, your pinky, 8th fret of the 6th string. First finger, move up a string to the 5th string, 5th fret. Now 3rd finger, 7th fret, 5th string. First finger, 5th fret, 4th string. 3rd finger, 7th fret, 4th string. First finger, 5th fret, 3rd string. 3rd finger, 7th fret, 3rd string. 1st finger again, 5th fret of the 2nd string. Then we're back to our pinky. 8th fret, 2nd string. And then 1st finger, 5th fret, 1st string. And with your pinky again, 8th fret on the 1st string. Okay? That's the pentatonic minor scale pattern. It's pretty straightforward. Later on, you'll learn perhaps the diatonic minor scale pattern, and it's very, very closely related to this. And you can look at how these there's a bunch of different scale patterns on the neck, right? They all overlap and interrelate to each other. But this one here is definitely what I recommend for all beginners to get their start with. There's just so much you can do with it. Once you get faster at it, and here's a good point, is that when you're picking on the right hand, you always want to be going down, up, down, up, down, up. It's called alternate picking because you're alternating the direction. So, and alternate picking, by the way, is very important when you start playing faster. More faster. There's a good use of English for you. When you start playing faster later on, you really need that consistent movement, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Because if you're always changing the direction, then it's inefficient, and you'll notice that it actually drags your playing back a little bit, the speed that you're able to play at. So it's good that when you're first starting to practice your scales, practice that down, up picking. It's really important. So it's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and back down again, right? We ended it on an up, so we'll go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay? Now, with the pentatonic minor scale, it's not too hard to do the down, up because all the strings have 2 notes on them, so you keep the same pattern throughout. But with different scale patterns, sometimes you're playing 3 notes on one string, so you'll notice that you're, down, up, down. Now you got to go up at the same time as you're going to another string, right? So that can play with your mind a little bit. But I don't want to go too far into that today because we're just talking about the pentatonic minor scale. So you've got the pattern now. Now, if you want to take that exact same pattern and we move it down to the G position, okay, that's the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and play that exact same pattern. Now we have G pentatonic minor. And the reason for that is we're taking the pattern and we're just anchoring it off of the G root note. If you move it up to the 7th fret, that's a B right here, 7th fret, 6th string. Right? B pentatonic minor. Hugely common scale. How about E pentatonic minor? Because that's another hugely popular scale. 12th fret, or open. Now keep in mind here we're using the open strings instead of our 1st finger. Right? It's the same as going 1st finger here. So what I've done is I've just kind of moved over, so now I'm anchoring my 1st finger on the 1st fret instead here. You can play this with different fingerings, but that's the basic idea. Now you can move this scale anywhere on the fretboard, and it's going to sound great, that scale pattern. So briefly, where would you use this? How would you use this? Well, if you're in the key of G major, G, C, and D, you can use E pentatonic minor. A simple way of looking at this is to take the key and go down 3 frets, which gives you the relative minor of the key. So if you're in a major key, say for instance C major, go down 3 frets from your C. So 1, 2, 3, you get to A minor. Go ahead and solo in A pentatonic minor in the key of C. Okay, I don't want to go into that in too much more detail. You can find out a lot more about this at 145.com or at guitarscalepatterns.com. Both of those lessons talk about this sort of thing. But there's your pentatonic minor scale for today. Head on over to PlayGuitar.com or subscribe on YouTube if that's where you are. And have yourself a great day and have lots of fun playing the pentatonic minor scale.